Former ambassador to the U.S., Michael Oren.
Roughly 74% of the Israeli population, according to the most recent poll, is not in favor of this operation. And that's an interesting dynamic, because they usually in Israel, we go to war on the basis of a consensual approval of the population.
He says the Israeli military's got concerns about it. Today marks the 11th anniversary of the fatal police shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
The ceremony was held outside of Canfield Green Apartments, the site where Michael Brown was fatally shot during a police confrontation. Michael Brown's stepmother, Kale Brown, recalls that day back in 2014.
We were sitting in my mother's living room, folding clothes, braiding hair, preparing our children for school, homeless. At that moment, we thought our life was probably at its worst.
Jill Enders, ABC News, St. Louis.
It's also the 80th anniversary of the second atomic bombing of Japan by the U.S. in World War II of the port city of Nagasaki. In Atlanta today, Jen Powell has made history as the first female umpire to work a regular season baseball game in the major leagues. The Braves are playing the Miami Marlins in a doubleheader. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
There are a lot of lawyers in Wisconsin, but only the top 5% are awarded the distinction of super lawyer, including 94% of the attorneys in our firm. In fact, 25 of our attorneys were named super lawyers last year, as well as the #1 lawyer in Wisconsin, and 6 more were named rising stars. Not every car accident case requires a super lawyer, but why settle for anything less on your case? Habish, Habish & Rotier, national reputation, hometown service. Visit habish.com for more information.
You got to get to Built Right today. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Built Right furniture, leather, and mattresses. Built Right's biggest Labor Day sale ever, and their $1 million clearance sell-off are on now. If you are looking for affordable, better quality furniture or mattresses, you got to do what my family does. We go to Built Right. We love our new living room furniture. Our son is sleeping on a new mattress, and most importantly, we enjoyed the shopping experience. 4 generations, 97 years strong. 3rd and 4th generation family members, they're right there in the store working alongside their amazing team. Be ready for your holiday guests. Thousands of items in stock or custom order at a low sale price. USA made, small scale, Ohio Amish made, and real solid wood furniture. 60 models of USA made mattresses. Built Right always saves you money. Free in-store design services. Voted best place to shop. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Vinny sent you. To Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
This is Brewers Warm-Up with Dominic Cotroneo. Hear lineups, manager insights, and a preview of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warm-Up. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
All right, let's do it again, shall we? For the second time in like a month. We're on George Webb watch once again. The Brewers looking for their 8th consecutive win. Trying to get to 12 once again. Who knows? They came 1 win shy a couple of weeks ago. But now they get ready for Game 2 against these Mets and trying to win yet another series. They'll hand the ball today to a little bit of a bullpen-esque day, but starting it will be Tobias Myers, who of course had the ball in Game 3 of the Wild Card Series last year, and he was tremendous. Caught up with him a little bit about that. We'll talk about that in the third segment of this program. He's going up against an opener and an old friend. The opener will be the right-hander Reed Garrett, who's been one of the best bullpen arms of the Mets, which honestly is a little bit of a win for the Brewers to not have to face Reed Garrett in leverage late in the game. And then following him, it'll be Frankie Montas, who has not been himself since coming off the injured list. He has not been the Brewers version of Frankie Montas with the Mets this year. Frankie is 3-2, a 6.68 ERA. This will be the first time that he pitches behind an opener this season. In fact, the first time that he's going to be technically coming out of the bullpen since the 2018 season when he was an Oakland Athletic. His last outing was against the San Francisco Giants at home on the 3rd. He went 4 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs. They were all earned, and only 1 homer, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He has just 29 Ks in his 33 innings, and opponents are hitting .302 against him. And furthermore, he has allowed at least 1 run in each of his last 6 outings. Given his first start back from the injured list, well, folks were very worried about him. He went 5 shutout against the Atlanta Braves in June, but it has been tough sledding ever since then. We will talk about the starting lineups at the end of this first segment, but I want to talk a little bit about yesterday. And, of course, the highlight of it all, still buzzing in the ballpark about Blake Perkins and the rifle for an arm he had in center field.
1-1 pitch. Flare, shallow center, base hit. Marte's being set. Here's the throw from Perkins. It is going to be in time! Game over! Blake Perkins says goodnight.
An absolutely perfect throw and a great call from our own Jeff Levering. 97 miles an hour on the dot from Blake Perkins on a perfect read to catch that ball and send it back in. It is his firmest throw this season, according to StatCast. And when you look at it for the Brewers overall in the year, it's one of the best throws on the season for any Brewer, regardless of position. It is the hardest throw, 97 miles an hour. And the fundamentals were sound. Everything that went into it is certainly worthy of all the highlights that he got in shades of last Father's Day against the Cincinnati Reds when he did the same thing to end the game against them. So what are the things that are underrated about that play leading into it? Well, even William Contreras, we talked about it yesterday, William sort of slumped his shoulders, and he admitted to Jack Stern of Brewer Fanatic after the game that off the bat, I thought there was no chance. I thought this game was going to extras, and I genuinely was slumping my shoulders thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to extras. But then, as he realized that Blake was going to make a play on it, he decided to stay in that relaxed state, and not until the very last moment did he surprise Starling Marte, who was running hard, almost 28 feet per second. But as Pat Murphy put it, took a little too wide of a turn as he came around third base. And you hear us talk about Christian Yelich cutting those bags all the time, to use a phrase from Bill Schroeder over on the television side. These are things that we can measure, and these are things we can measure of how tight to the bags you're able to turn. And the best base runners are leaning, and the best base runners hold their balance and are able to keep full speed and not adjust their stride to hit a base. And when you look a little closer at how Starling Marte rounded the bases yesterday, just specifically from the high home view, and then we have, StatCast show us exactly what he was doing. He ran in a straight line to third, which sacrificed him on his turn around the base. He sacrificed speed for his route, which made him have to run a few more steps than maybe he was anticipating and maybe he was hoping for, because, you thought off the bat, yeah, that ball's got to drop, but he's got to make sure of it. And lastly, to think that, Francisco Alvarez, who was on deck, he tried to get into position, but he accidentally screened himself by the umpire. He's yelling to get down, but the umpire is right in front of him. He could not spread the message of which way to slide. Maybe he would have told him to slide to the fair side of home plate. Who knows? Those are little things that go into games like this. Another little thing about this contest yesterday was, again, just casual good defense from the Brewers, specifically the big 5-4-3 double play that ended the 4th inning and sent Brandon Woodruff on an 11-in-a-row crusade to end his outing going 7 strong. If that double play doesn't happen, the bullpen was already starting to stir about, getting ready to go the 3rd time through the order. You're thinking, man, he's going to have a long inning. He could be stressful here, but no, He got the job done on Alvarez to bounce into a 5-4-3 double play. That was a big win probability added play. And then finally, of course, Isaac Collins got the RBI the hard way with the hit by pitch and the bases loaded. It was an 0-2 count, and it was a slider that hit him in the backside. So sometimes you get an RBI the hard way, but it works out, and it was the difference of the game. One other decision. This came from the manager, Pat Murphy. In the 8th inning, you're facing the top of the order with 2 outs, and Abner Uribe walks Francisco Lindor. Left-hander Jared Koenig is up in the bullpen and ready for action with the left-hander Juan Soto coming to the plate. And maybe the book would say, hey, Jared Koenig dominates lefties. Yes, Juan Soto is a fantastic hitter against either side, but he is slightly worse against left-handed pitching, specifically to a .226 batting average and a sub-400 slugging against lefties. Do you get the chance to make sure that that guy, the guy that's circled on everyone's lineup card, the quote-unquote the rich guy, isn't going to beat you? And then you may think, is it gut? Is it a coaching decision? Well, Pat Murphy explained his process and using his pitching coach to leave Abner Uribe in the game.
I mean, Henderson and I spoke about it. He said, Hookie and I are talking. We can either have Hookie go out and make a visit and tell him how to get around Soto. We don't want him to beat us. So we're going to not pitch around him, but get a definite plan how we're going to attack this with the least exposures we can, and then we'll just keep him in there to face Alonso. And I said, good, let's do it. Because there's no guarantee anybody facing Soto, if you're trying to just go beat Soto straight up in the clutch part of the game, there's no guarantee, So we really kind of opted to pitch around him, so to speak, and see if he'd, bite on it. It worked out for us. But really, the pitching coaches brought me that option, I'm thinking about the same thing. What do we do here? We're obviously not just going to attack Soto, so it wasn't that hard of a decision, but it's the pitching coaches that brought it to me that way.
And the first pitch that Abner Uribe threw was a down-and-away sinker that Soto did bite on and ended up rolling over to the second baseman, Bryce Terang, on a top spinner and ended the inning with no harm done. But furthermore, you remember a few years ago, the 3-batter minimum, and with respect to Craig Counsell, the reason why it was called Craig Timber is because you had all 40 men of the 40-man roster up here, and there was no 3-batter minimum, so you're mixing and matching pitching matchups and one batter or another. I mean, if this was 2017, maybe you had a lefty ready for Soto, and let's say he reached base and you'd go to a righty for Alonso, and it would change batter to batter. And Pat Murphy explains, man, this game is so much better with the 3-batter minimum.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole different game. This 3-batter minimum has been great for the game, and games are quicker, but more concise. We're going to stop the nonsense of back and forth and arduous 7th inning that takes, an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, makes you have to make those tough decisions and stick by them.
And there's always a process to it. You talk about the windows. You talk about where you feel like you can have an edge over the other team's lineup. And that's why lineup construction matters and the way you alternate and try to find ways. Andrew Vaughn torches lefties. He hits behind Christian Yelich, who also hits lefties pretty well, mind you. But if the lefty doesn't get Yelly, he has to face Vaughn. Or, maybe Isaac Collins has to flip to the right side like we saw him do yesterday when he got hit by a pitch. All of these things go into it. There are a lot of people in every single front office that analyze every single lineup and every single combination that you could see. Who are the pinch hit opportunities? Where would they change? There's so many levels to this, and it's not just your casual out-of-the-park baseball simulation sitting at home. This is real life, and a lot goes into every single decision on a baseball field. The Brewers looking for Game 2 of this series and to claim the series win. Quickly, the lineups for you. First for the home team, Milwaukee Brewers. Sal Frelick will lead things off. He's in right field. Isaac Collins moves up to the second spot in the order today. Isaac is playing left. William Contreras hitting third, and he's behind the plate, rocking some Players Weekend gear, given the Brewers are on the road next weekend for Players Weekend. Cleanup hitter once again is Christian Yelich. He is the DH. Andrew Vaughn plays first base and bats fifth. Blake Perkins, yesterday's hero, is in center. He'll bat sixth. Bryce Terang, his 9th homer of the year yesterday, already a career high for him. He's at second. The 8th hitter is Anthony Siegler. He's playing third base. And then Joey Ortiz to round out the order, who's our pregame guest coming up in just a moment. Joey bats 9th and is the shortstop. Again for the crew, Frelick, Collins, and Contreras in the top. The middle has Yelich, Vaughn, and Perkins. The bottom, Terang, Siegler, and Ortiz. For the New York Mets, they are 63 and 53. Francisco Lindor leads off once again. He is the shortstop. Juan Soto, the rich guy, is in right, batting second. Starling Marte, man, he just loves hitting against the Brewers, doesn't he? A double and a homer yesterday. He's DHing again, hitting third. Pete Alonso will slide to the cleanup spot. Alonso is the first baseman. Batting fifth is Brandon Nimmo. He's been good lately. He is in left field. He's got 19 homers on the year. Mark Vientos into the lineup. Not so great defensively or offensively for that matter this season after a great postseason last year. Vientos at third. Jeff McNeil, who had the base hit there in the ninth inning that set the stage for Perkins. He'll hit seventh and play second. Francisco Alvarez behind the plate is the catcher. He's at the 8th spot of the order. And finally, Cedric Mullins. He is the trade acquisition for the Mets in center, batting ninth. Again for New York, Lindor, Soto, Marte, the top third. Alonso, Nimmo, and Vientos in the middle. McNeil, Alvarez, and Mullins. And then an opener for the Mets, Reed Garrett. And then a minor bulk guy. Don't expect maybe a full 5 innings from Tobias today. Tobias Myers for the Crew. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little defense. Catching up with Joey Ortiz, a freshly shaved top of the head Joey Ortiz. He took it all the way down. And as a bald man, welcome to the club. But he's not bald. It'll grow right back in about 10 hours with the way that his hairline is intact. So some guys had some fun with that in the clubhouse today. But a defense-centered conversation with Joey Ortiz on the other side of this break on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Looking for an e-bike? Shop Wheel and Sprocket and find rows and rows of bikes in a bunch of different styles and colors for you to see, touch, feel, and even test ride.
Visit wheelandsprocket.com for a location near you.
Life is short. Enjoy your ride.
My gut tells me that this summer heat's gonna last, and that means your AC is gonna be put through the paces. Now we all know that AC can take a licking and keep on ticking, especially if it's an Armstrong. But when yours needs to be put out to pasture, call Quality. With over 70 vehicles on the road, we'll be there in a hurry. And with over 60 years of experience, how can you go wrong?
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Think of your experienced Quality electrician for remodels or smaller projects like replacing fixtures or fluorescent lights to LED. Electric car charging port installs, and electric panel swap outs. Codes are about to change that require a more expensive breaker. Quality can help. And for a power outage, count on lightning fast emergency service.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeisDoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield and their custom design room. Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Now, more of Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Welcome back on Brewers Warm-Up. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Pleased to be joined by Joey Ortiz today on the pregame show. And Joey, let's talk a little defense here, man, because I was looking at your numbers the other day, and it's kind of funny to think that you're approaching 1,000 innings as a big league shortstop. You already had 1,000 innings as a big league third baseman. Just in your first 2 years, full-time in the show, how has this, gone? Learning third last year, now kind of back to a natural spot at short.
Honestly, I'd say it's pretty hard. I mean, of course, in the big leagues, you want to make outs, do anything you can to get outs for the pitchers. So I think going to third last year was a little bit of a learning curve early, and then later I felt a lot more comfortable. I think early this year is kind of the same as well. And I mean, I played short coming up pretty much my whole time in the minor leagues, split time other places, but it was mainly a shortstop, and then got here, and it was a completely different ball game. I mean, I think big league shortstop is it's a hard position. So I mean, you got to be able to put the work in and be ready for it.
So we watch you in spring training. We see the hands, and people are always asking, can Joey learn short? Obviously everyone talked about Willie all year long and all that, but that's all behind us now. What are the challenges that you were making sure you wanted to accomplish just going back to shortstop?
A lot of it was like my first step stuff, making sure that I was getting the balls that I should get, being in a good position to field the balls. I mean, really just that. I think my hands were. I feel like my hands have always been good enough to play anywhere, and I think a lot of it was just making sure I use my feet correctly to be in a good position.
What have you learned about that with Matt Erickson and the work you guys do on a daily basis?
He does a lot. I mean, he's the one who brought it up to me in spring. So when we started to get working on that, I mean, we noticed a good adjustment early, and then even now, I feel like it's getting better. And I mean, hopefully it gets even better towards the end of the season, and then going into hopefully playoffs. And yeah.
Talking to Joey Ortiz here on Brewers Warm-Up. Joey, Matty also talked about the fact that he could have had like a soft challenge to you of like, you make the routine plays, but wanted to try to push you to make some of the more extraordinary plays. So, and you've been making them lately. So the few plays that pop up are like the Julio play or the plays in LA. Is there a play that since that challenge has come about saying, like, oh, I didn't know I had that in me, or just sort of like, yeah, this is exactly what he's talking about?
I think it was more so like kind of just seeing like he brought it up, and then seeing the more range I had, the more balls I could get to. And I felt like it was always in there, but I just felt like I was late all the time. So when he brought it up, just made the adjustment and still working on it, honestly. And we've noticed that it's helping out a lot.
What have you felt coming forward? Some of the numbers, if we look at the advanced stuff, at least on the public-facing stuff, you coming in on a ball, you're one of the best shortstops in the league at doing that. So is it bare hands? Is it the transfer? What makes you so comfortable in that? And maybe even, if I could, suggest, like, is it because of third base a little bit last year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think third has a lot to do with it. I mean, you're coming in on the ball a lot, and I think it more so just has to do with being aggressive, not letting the ball, take advantage of you. You want to go get the ball on the hop that you want, and I think a lot of it is just being aggressive towards the ball.
All right, Joey Ortiz joining us here on Brewers Warm-Up. Thanks for the time. Best of luck. Nice haircut, and we'll see you down the road.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Joey Ortiz, like I said, he's got the full shave now, so if he takes off his cap on the field, don't act like and see a jump stare and get worried. But Joey, one of the best defenders in the game. In fact, the DRS numbers are a little misleading. At one point he was a -7 DRS, but now he's up to a -2, so meaning he's gained 5 DRS in the last month and a half or so. Furthermore, he's at a +7 outs above average, which is among the better ones in National League shortstops. But there's Mason Wynn, there's Dansby Swanson that are ahead of him in that leaderboard, but it doesn't mean you're a bad defender by any stretch of the imagination. And the Brewers are right now on a streak of 9 consecutive games in which they have not committed an error. Up next, we'll talk a little bit about Frankie Montas, talk a little bit about Tobias Myers and what to expect for the Brewers pitching staff tonight. Also, a key health update from a certain flamethrower. Back after this on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Earn now, spend later at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, rewards members can earn $10 in Blaine's Bucks for every $100 spent in store, redeemable just like cash after August 21st. Start earning on Canaday All Life Stages dog food, $10 off. Select Tide laundry detergent, $11.99 for rewards members. And 50-foot Yellow Jacket extension cords are half price, just $24.99. Rewards members save an extra $5. Earn Blaine's Bucks now to spend later at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry. I love Guthrie and Fry. I've got their water softener, the salt delivered right to the basement. Their RO system, which filters the water in our house. What we drink, what we cook with, is crisp, clean, clear. It's Guthrie and Fry water conditionings, the best in the business. They also provide well pump system service, routine service, and emergency service for when you need it. They've been doing that since 1974. At Guthrie and Fry, they know that better water makes a big difference. The teams I trust are at Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Hi, I'm Rose Gray with Fox World Travel, and if Alaska is on your must-see list next summer, don't wait too long. Our exclusive guided Alaska land and sea journeys with Holland America are filling up fast. We send hundreds of travelers from Wisconsin on these most sought-after experiences to visit Alaska. Interested in a shorter Inside Passage cruise? Ask about a 7-night Princess cruise. Don't just picture Alaska, live it. Alaska is more popular than ever and booking fast. Visit Fox World Travel online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Back to Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
All right, our last segment here on the program. Tell you a little bit about what the Brewers got going on in the clubhouse before we talk about the pitching matchup. I'm Dom Cotroneo, the On Deck Show built by Menards. Coming up on the other side of the break, too, that'll be Jeff Levering and Lane Grindle on the call. You know, when you look at it for Frankie Montas this year, you know, he had the injury in spring training. He didn't return until mid-June, and the minor league numbers were not very pretty. But now the numbers that are really plaguing him right now is everything that moves to his glove side is right down the middle. I mean, his slider, his sweeper, and his cutter all are over 330 when you combine it for opponents against him. He doesn't throw any of them all that often, but he has nothing that moves to his glove side. So as a hitter, you're ready. If you're a right-handed hitter, you're everything to be coming in on you. You'll be able to see it. It'll hang down the middle if it wants to be something that Frankie doesn't want you to hit. But then the splitter can still be an equalizer against lefties. He still has 9 strikeouts on that pitch to go with a four-seamer that tops out around 96 miles an hour. But before him, it's Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett has never started a game ever in his big league career, and he is just an opener today. You have to imagine the maximum they could get out of him is 2 innings. But then does Carlos Mendoza manage for tomorrow a little bit and say, well, I can only get 1 inning out of Reed Garrett, clear the top third of the order, and then move on to Frankie Montas, so I can maybe have Reed Garrett available tomorrow. But one thing the Brewers can do is that Reed Garrett relies a lot on chase and a lot of swing and miss. The Brewers are exceptional at avoiding those type of strikes. So do they make him throw a 25-pitch first inning, right? These are the little battles that Pat Murphy talks about all the time that can impact games over the course of a series. Let's say they don't score a run in this first inning, but they make Reed Garrett throw 25 pitches in the first. Is Reed Garrett effective and ready to go for tomorrow? Furthermore, now you've got even more tape on him, ready for tomorrow's matchup if he's coming back out of the bullpen like they would expect for him. That's something to keep in mind. Or you tag him for a run or two, and you don't have to worry about that nasty bullpen. You know, I was talking to some folks in the Brewers dugout today about, you know, how close it was that Blake Perkins make the throw. Maybe he didn't, because otherwise you're staring at extra innings, and you're at least the bottom of the ninth, and Edwin Diaz would have the bottom of the ninth, and Ryan Helsley would have the bottom of the 10th. So it wasn't going to get any easier for the Brewers heading against the Mets bullpen. But, you know, the way that you neutralize a great bullpen is you stay in front, and that's what the Brewers are going to try to do today with yet another, yesterday, come-from-behind win. They were down 2-0 in that big 5th inning when they scored 3 and never looked back. Brewers playing some great baseball right now. They have the best record in baseball, and they will get some help soon. Jacob Misiorowski threw a 3-up live batting practice today. No problems at all. He'll get probably one more live BP before he's ultimately activated. Pat Murphy was non-committal if he'll be activated during that Red Series, or would they rather save him for that Cubs series and try to exploit the most of the pitching they have available around that doubleheader. So that remains to be seen, but for the folks concerned about Jacob Misiorowski, he is on the comeback trail. It should be a minimum stay on the injured list for him. The shin is all healed up, and he is ready to go. Brewers and Mets. Game 2 of a 3-game set. We'll be scoreboard watching, starting at virtually the same time, the Cubs and the Cardinals down in the Lou. We'll talk to you after the game today for Brewers Extra Innings. Our producer has been Evan Wittallison. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Talk to you after. Until then, keep on swinging.
Here at Rich Lawns, we offer both comfort service